Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel, Shelly's Millions. Today, I'll be answering any questions that you have about the middle class tax refund, also known as the inflation relief checks here in the state of California. We can talk about anything finance that you guys want to talk about. Also, I was looking into those high gas prices and found a couple of articles about why that is because I finally remembered to pass by my cheap gas station, the Arco, and I just put number 87 gas in mine, like the cheapest gas that you can. And gas is $6.39 a gallon at the cheap gas station. And then I was talking to some of my other viewers, and they were saying that it is over $7 where they are at. And certainly if you're paying with credit card and if you need like the higher number gas, like the higher grade gas, then it is costing $7 already, which is just crazy to me. Hi, Siegel. Is it true some people won't get their rebate until mid to late January? Wow, that's a long time. Yeah, and I should have had that screen pulled up, but I have the screen pulled up that talks about the high gas prices in California. Also, just for funsies, let's see how much gas that will get us at $7 a gallon in just a second. Okay, so Siegel, let me tell you and the rest of the viewers right here at the beginning, the breakdown. Maybe I gotta pull that page up. Let me know. Shoot, you guys are gonna want me to pull it up. I'm gonna say it and then I'm gonna look and pull that page up, and then we'll get into the gas prices and why those are high. And then we'll tell you how much your inflation relief check, how many times you can fill up your tank with that. Okay, so oh, also, you guys, I went on a hike yesterday. You guys should all follow me on Instagram. I don't know why I look crazy, but that's me on a hike yesterday. There's like this lookout point over the area where I live, and I went there yesterday. Okay, so Siegel, you are saying that gas prices are $6.39 in your area for the regular 87. Yeah, same. And that's kind of at the cheap gas station too. Like that's Arco. It's not Chevron. It's not Shell. What is the other two? Hi, Crazy Cat Lady. Oh my God. Look, Crazy Cat Lady. It's like you knew. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this, but I'm also going to try and wear Halloween themed kind of clothes or shirts or something. I don't know, maybe makeup every time I go live. So I've got on my black cat shirt. Okay. So, Siegel, you were asking about, is it true that some people won't get their rebate until mid to late January? Yes. Okay, so here's the breakdown. If you received your Golden State Stimulus 1 or 2 by direct deposit, then you're going to get this inflation relief check, the middle class tax refund, between October 7th and October 25th by direct deposit. If you received your 2020 state tax refund by direct deposit, but you didn't get the Golden State Stimulus, then you would be getting your middle class tax refund, inflation relief stimulus check between October 28th and November 14th by direct deposit. If you received the Golden State Stimulus by debit card or by a physical check, then this time, hi Chris, then you're going to be getting the inflation relief checks by debit card between October 25th and December 10th. So that's if you got your Golden State Stimulus by check or debit card last time. And then if you're a taxpayer who don't fall into the above categories, that's when it's going to be mailed out by January 15th. And since mailed out by January 15th, that means that it could take like another week for it to actually reach your house. I think I've heard January 23rd is when they expect it to be complete. They expect it to them to finish getting sent out on January 15th, but then of course like the mail. So that's where it is. Yeah, let's talk about these crazy gas prices. All right, Infinity says premium fuel in my car is required, and it's $6.89 in my area. Okay, now you guys know that I like to bring out the whiteboard and do the math. right? So let's do it. Oh, look at my whiteboard's clean. You guys don't even have to wait for me to do this. Let's also, no, we're not ready to share the screen and talk about why the gas prices are so high. But I do have that article prepared. I'm like, the whiteboard's clean, and then I clean the other side. Okay, so let's say that you're an individual. I'm having trouble with my finger. Oh my goodness. Okay. I need for physical therapy. I don't have health insurance right now. Okay. Guys, for yesterday, I was like, my eyes are bothering me. Now I'm having something called trigger finger. It hurts real bad, and my finger like wants to stay stiff. Okay, anyway. So let's say you're single and you made less than 75K. All right. I don't know I always get confused about the less than sign. I'll look that up. But for now, we're doing it like this. So you made less than 75,000. That would mean, and you're single. So your inflation relief check should be $350. Okay. Now, I think last time we said that the average gas tank was 14 gallons. Did we say my gas tank is really little? My gas tank only takes like less than 8 gallons to fill it up. Chris, we're going to hang out. We're going to go to dinner, and we're going to go to the gas station after dinner. Woo, I'm a good time, guys. Woo, let's go to the gas station. We're going to the cheap gas by Chris's house. Okay, so $350 for a single person who made less than 75K in 2020. And I think last time we did this math, we decided that like the average person's tank was 14 gallons, or did we decide it was 17 gallons? Anyway, so we're going to go with 14 gallons. So 14 gallons times 7. All right, I probably should know what the math is. I'm going to grab the calculator. 14 gallons to fill up your tank times $7 equals $98. Okay, so 350 divided by, that's roughly 3.5 times, right? So you can fill up your gas tank 3.5 times with your $350. That is not going to do very much. This is still better than getting a gas tax break, because what was it here in California? That's like a 51 cent a gallon discount. So it would take a lot of 51 cents to equal the 350. So I do like this better. This is better, but it's just still not very much. 3.5 times is how many times you can fill up your gas tank for free, if that's what you use your middle class income tax relief check for. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so that it just doesn't go very far. And then most of us, we fill up one time a week. So this helps, this gives us relief. It gives relief for like a month. And then we go back to paying $98. That's not right. I didn't do my math right. It must have been 17 gallons for most of you guys to fill up your tank. Chris, I know you have a little compact car like me. How many gallons does your tank take? And then Infinity, how many gallons does your tank take? Hi, Debbie. Debbie, the other little green guy's in the car, but I wouldn't want you to miss this guy. He's sad about these gas prices, though. Oof, he does not like it. What? I don't even think he's going to get happy with the gas prices as high as they are. Okay. Miss Amendi wants to know, how much will the check be? So it depends on your tax filing status. And this is for California. Different states are doing different stimuluses. So if you were single and you made more than $250,000, you're not getting anything. If you're single and you made between $125,001 and $250,000, you would just get $200. I feel like that's not most of us here in the state of California. We're not most of us are not making that much. I'm certainly not. None of my friends are. I don't think any of my viewers are. I don't know your exact incomes, but I know we're all struggling with unemployment. So I don't think in 2020, certainly not very many of us that I know of made more than that. So it would be at least $200. Then if you made between negative money on your tax return all the way up to 75,000, that would be $350 as a single person that you would get back. Then if you made between $75,000 $1 and that $125,000, then you get $250 back. If you're married filing jointly, you basically double it. Then if you have dependents, no matter how many dependents you have, it kind of follows the income structure. So if you're single with one dependent, my little guy, he's not my dependent, but single with one dependent, and you made less than $75,000 adjusted gross income in 2020, you would be getting $700 back. And I'll go ahead and pull up that article in just a second. So hi, Debbie. Infinity says, speaking of gas, why does the middle grade even exist? I was just thinking that today as I was like looking at the numbers to talk about them tonight. I was like, who uses that? Either people are driving, like, and guys, Infinity, that is a luxury car brand, but his car's paid off, which is why he's hanging on to it. And I support that decision. Of course, it's not my decision at all to make, but I think that's what I would do. I would choose a car that's paid off versus buying something new that's not paid off any day, even with the crazy gas prices. So I totally understand that, but I was thinking about that on the way home. It's like maybe for people, I don't know, because if you drive like a luxury brand, like a BMW, an Infiniti, a Lexus, it tells you to put the number 91 grade gas in your car. And then if you don't have that, probably most of us, like I drive a Prius C, so it's like a hybrid car. I just put the cheap gas. I put the number 87 in there. Like, who's putting the 89? Like, if you have a luxury car, is putting the 89 in better than putting in the 87? My guess is yes. I don't know like what manufacturer would tell its car owners to put in the 89 grade gas, but there must be some. We'll Google that in a second because now I'm curious. Remind me though. Okay. But yeah, I don't know why 89 exists. We'll look it up. Hi, Gig Life with Lexi. Good to see you as well. If you owe taxes, will you still get the stimulus? You're supposed to, yes. Cool Top. I'm trying to do Halloween theme all month of October. We'll see how far that goes. I think that I might have already worn all 2 of my official Halloween shirts. Yes. Okay. Debbie also says, how's the cat? He goes out at night. He lives a wild and crazy life at night. I don't know where he's at right now. Okay. Linda says, Infinity, you're right. Why on earth is there grade 89 or plus gas? Does anyone even use it? Not even Costco gas can spare us from the pain. Nope. I usually Costco and the Arco right by my house, they're about the same. Okay. King Babar says to Frank, 300 to be Frank, not to Frank. 350 is not enough. It should be double. Yep, I agree. 11.9. Oh, so almost 12 gallons on your gas. We're going to round that up, Chris, and call that 12 gallons for yours. And then Infinity, your gas tank is like 18 gallons. So maybe 16 gallons is a little bit more close to average. So then you wouldn't even be able to fill up your gas tank 3 times for free with this stimulus check. Like it's going to be 3 times, not 3.5 times. Okay. Give the green thing to the cat. No. Okay. And then Chris says, you just got a new hybrid. Oh, congratulations on your new car with a 500-mile range. So gassing up maybe once a month now. That is great. And like right now, I'm not driving my Prius very much. When I was like commuting back and forth, I was probably filling up my gas tank about once a week. Now I'm still filling it up about every 2 weeks, but I don't quite get 500-mile range. Okay, Andrew says the gas tank in your Lexus is 17 gallons and also premium. It's almost the same. Maybe we used 17 as the medium before, and I think 14 is too low. So basically, the stimulus relief checks are not really going to relieve us for very long. Romaine says switching earlier to winter gas here in California will only give us a 15-cent break. The $350 gas stimulus wouldn't do enough to help us. California pays more than $4 a gallon more than other states. Yeah, let me bring up that article. Dext says, I know it's been said, but I just got here. Do you know when we're supposed to get this money? Starting Friday, but it depends on how you got your Golden State stimulus check and if you got your Golden State stimulus check. Also, if your bank account, like if you're expecting if you got your Golden State stimulus by direct deposit, but since you filed your 2020 taxes, that bank account is closed, you're not using it, it's not active, then you are most likely going to get a debit card mailed to you. And then that's the group of people where it might not come until the middle of January. Guys, there's 43 of you in here. I would love it if you gave the video a like. Yeah, lots of watchers. Okay, BMP, you bought a Tesla last year. Haven't had to buy gas in a year. LOL, and free charging at work. Okay, BMP. So one of the jobs that I recently applied for was to sell Teslas, right? I love Teslas. I've got it as the screensaver on my phone. That's the Tesla Model S. I would probably buy a Model 3. But whatever, that's the screensaver on my phone, even though I don't drive a Tesla. Here are the things I'm wondering. You know how they do rolling blackouts sometimes here in California? Yes, of course, charge your car during non-peak hours. Maybe people that have solar power are not affected by the rolling blackouts, but I don't have solar. And let's just say that like I didn't charge my car overnight and it was low. How do I charge my car during if there's a blackout? Can I charge it during a blackout? What about some of these situations that you see where, obviously Teslas want to expand outside of just California. California has pretty warm weather year round. What about these cars where you see like traffic snowed in and like they're on the road for 3 hours, just like sitting in traffic? I would imagine that you'd want to keep like your heater on so you would have the Tesla running. What would happen to the Tesla if you're stuck in traffic for 3 hours? So those are my two main questions about a Tesla right now. Also, all right, I care about the environment, but a lot of times I don't quite know how these things work. I know I'm supposed to recycle like remote control batteries at the electronic waste. I know you have to be careful about paint and chemicals, and you're supposed to compost now, right? What I don't know is electricity. Is it better to generate electricity than it is gasoline, right? Like, and I know that we're trying to go, like, the fact that there's clean energy alternatives like wind and solar, that makes me think, like, oh, is electrical not good? Is it not clean energy? Is it bad for the environment to use a lot of electricity? Certainly, I don't want my electricity bill to go up. So, how do those components fit into all of that? If you know, let me know in the comments. Okay. Romaine says the gasoline is eating up our food tanks. Yes, it is. Hi, Diamond Pikachu. Good to see you in here. Andrew says, I have no idea who puts 89 in their tank and why. It's a mystery to me. Me too. Jam. Will everybody get the same amount? So we're talking about two different things tonight. We're talking mainly about how gas prices are crazy, and then we're also talking about the middle class income tax relief checks or refund checks, and then they're also calling those inflation relief. And at one point, they were looking at giving like gas rebates or relief, and these middle class tax rebates or refunds, those replaced that. Okay, Janet, your sister puts premium. Yeah, you have to put, you're supposed to put premium in the luxury cars. Diamond Pikachu, I have the article ready to go. Oh, good. We've got the spammer in here. Block user. How is that happening? Linda says, are they saying the reason why gas prices are partially so high is yeah, not strike. All right. There's a lot of questions about the gas, and I have that article ready to go. So let's do that. Okay. So we're going to read this article together. Why California is paying nearly 70% more for gasoline at the pump than the rest of the company. And the average price stood at $6.25 a gallon on Monday. This article is from today, Monday at 2:08 p.m. But already this morning, when I was driving past my local gas station, it was $6.39 for the number 87 gas. Then, if you were paying by credit, it was $6.49 a gallon. So it's really nearing the $7 mark. So California has pretty much always paid more than the nation for gasoline at the pump, in part due to higher taxes and a more expensive blend of fuel, but an average price that's nearly 70% more than most everyone in the US is a bit extreme. Yeah, you think? Okay. The national average price for regular gasoline is little changed from a month ago, but drivers in California have seen a jump of nearly 20% from September 3rd as refinery issues tighten supplies of the fuel in the Golden State. So, at least right now, they're not saying whether that's because of a strike or if there's some other issue with the refinery, just that there's a refinery issue. The average price for regular unleaded gasoline stood at $3.76 on Monday afternoon, which is down 0.4% from $3.70, or I'm just going to round up, $3.78 a month ago. That's nationwide, according to data from Gas Buddy. The average in California, however, was $6.25 on Monday. That's 66% higher than the national average and up 20% from $5.22 a month ago on September 3rd. Guys, I hope that you can see this chart here. Nope, it won't let me click it to make it better. So the red line is the line for California gas prices, okay? And so that's way up there. The blue line is the United States average. So California is just crazy, crazy high. I mean, we follow the general trends of the blue line, except for what is that? At least here on the low end, gas was like, is that 310 or 318? 318 and 447. So a minimum, here's where it was the closest. It was let's call that 420 and 447. So right in there, it looks like there was only about 20 cents separating the rest of the US from California. But most of the time, it looks like it's about $1.30 to $3 higher per gallon. That really adds up. Okay, anyway, enough with that chart. So back to the article. The Golden State pays more than double the $3.02 average price for the state of Mississippi. Gas Buddy data shows. California's average price also isn't far from its record high of $6.43 from June 14th of this year. Again, guys, I'm rounding up. There are many refinery issues in the West, including 6 refineries that are either undergoing planned or unplanned maintenance, said Patrick DeHaan, head of petroleum analysis at Gas Buddy, on Monday. That has caused gasoline supply on the West Coast to drop to its lowest level in a decade and caused wholesale prices to skyrocket. So they're saying that it is due to planned or unplanned maintenance. Total gasoline inventories on the West Coast were at 24.9 million barrels for the week ending September 23rd, at the lowest since 2012, according to data from the Energy Information Administration. On Friday, California Governor Gavin Newsom directed California Air Resources Board to increase the state's gasoline supply and lower fuel prices by allowing oil refineries to make an early switch to winter blend gasoline. Okay, so that was this past Friday when he said that. Normally, most gas stations can't stop selling the environmentally friendly and expensive summer blend fuel and start selling the cheaper winter blend until November 1st. Now, here's what I wonder, right? Is it easy? I don't know. I don't work in an oil refinery. How quickly can they switch from one blend to the next? Any of you guys that's watched the channel for a while, you guys know that I used to work in movie theaters. I may still work in movie theaters, to be determined. I love movie theaters, so I hope I do. But anyway, um it's not so we popped our popcorn where I worked, sometimes with sunflower oil. It's been different oils throughout the years. But sometimes the vendor would be out of sunflower oil and then we would have to switch. And sometimes, like, you don't find out until you're getting your delivery, like, oh, hey, we ran out of sunflower oil. So is that the same thing? Like, can these refineries just switch at the drop of a hat like that? I don't know. Like, for years, they probably haven't been using the winter blend until November 1st. So can they just go ahead and use the winter blend now? Also, the unused summer blend of gas, does gas keep forever? Like, will those barrels still be good when next summer rolls around? I don't know. In my head, how I imagine it is like, we've all seen like the big trucks that fill up the gas station supply. So do they just like how does that all work? In my head, there's like big canisters that they pick up and put on the truck. And in my head, there's like a yard of those. And like businesses probably try to estimate the demand for gas. Can they just switch that easy? That's what I'm trying to figure out. I don't know. After this, we're going to look up who uses grade 89 gas. Anyway, so following nuisance moves, San Francisco area gasoline prices are down 21 cents on Monday, though Los Angeles is still smoking hot and up 8.31 cents a gallon, said Tom Cloza, global head of energy analysis at the Oil Price Information Service, a Dow Jones company, on Monday. Cloza said he believes the worst is over for California wholesale prices, and that might filter to retail prices in a few days. So, guys, if you were thinking about filling up your gas tank tomorrow, but you can wait a couple days, might be worth it. Nationally, gasoline is like real estate. Everything is tied to what region one lives, he told MarketWatch, adding that most gasoline markets are up Monday on speculation surrounding the outcome for a meeting Wednesday of the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries and their allies. The OPEC Plus may agree to cut production in November by 1 million barrels a day, according to news reports, with concerns that a potential recession will lead to lower demand for oil. So they're saying here in California, we don't have enough barrels of gas, and yet they're looking at cutting production in November. Okay. An output cut could create a catalyst that could push gas prices up further, said DeHaan. Yep, saw that coming. Okay. Still, Cloza points out that the fourth quarter will not be a typical one. Deep recession might lead to modest prices, but other scenarios point to strength for crude oil, gasoline, and diesel. We will lose some Russia oil in early December as the European Union's ban on Russia oil kicks in. More important, about 3 million barrels per day, or perhaps 18% of U.S. refining capacity, will be idled by work or maintenance events this month, he said. That will keep upward pressure on gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel, but probably deter some of the speculative buying in crude. All right, so that's that. I'm going to check your questions real fast. I will try and get to as many as I can. Thanks, Gig for Life with Lexi, for reminding everybody to hit the like button. Jose says you paid $35 to fill half your tank in your Nissan Versa. Oh my God, half. All right. Also, I don't want to leave it playing on this ad. We're going to go back to this headline in a second. We're going to Google who uses grade 89 gas. Hi, Daniel. You think you mentioned this to me. You have your tax refund via direct deposit, but they sent your checks for Golden State stimulus for some reason. Do you think I'll finally receive a direct deposit this time? So, according to the article that I read, if you received your Golden State stimulus by check or debit card, it looks like they're going to send a debit card this time for the middle class tax refund, and that would be sent out between October 25th and December 10th. So I don't think you're going to get direct deposit this year. I don't know why that. Oh, I do know some reasons why if you guys want to stick around. Joel, hello. For 89 fuel, it's only so that people who use 87 could get a little more performance and engine cleaning quality in their car combustion chamber. Don't put this in a luxury car, only 91. Okay. And Joel, I think that you work as a mechanic now. I think you made that transition during the pandemic. And I love that you're, Joel, if you want to shout out like where you work, because like I know we haven't met in person, but I feel like you're trustworthy. It's hard to find a good mechanic. So if you want to throw the name of the place that you work in the chat, please go ahead and do that. Why are there bots in here? And I keep banning that user. Okay, anyway. So don't put number 89 gas in a luxury car, only the 91. You guys, at one point in my life, I've fluctuated how good I am with my finances. I'm not one of these people where I've always been frugal. I've made some mistakes. And one time I almost bought a BMW until I found out a used BMW, could never afford a new one. The car payment was already kind of out of my budget. And then when I found out how much it was to insure it and how that I could only put the number 91 gas in it, those were the deciding factors that led me to continue driving my old car till it had 300,000 miles. I will also say, I pretty much exclusively just put the number 87 in my car, and my last car lasted to 300,000 miles, and this car so far has over like 107,000 miles on it. So, I don't know. Okay, let's Google it though. I'm curious. Let's see what Google says. Why does number 89 gas exist? Let's see. Why do we even have mid-grade gas? That's what we want to know. Between regular and premium lies a lonely thing called mid-grade. Who needs it? This article is from 2018. You encounter three grades of gas, one of which pretty much makes you scratch your head. Yep, that's why we're Googling this. Mid-grade, typically 89 octane. Very few cars actually call for it. Almost certainly not yours among the 10 for 2018 that specify it as their diet. I like this article. Sales at the pump reflect that, with 83% of gasoline we buy coming from the lowest grade, 10% coming from premium, and just 7% from mid-grade. What is going on here? I don't want to get newsletters. Okay, so 7% of people use them. All right. So sorry, I started skimming because I know you guys also want to know about the middle class tax refund, which I will pull up. So yeah, just 7% from that. Okay, let me get into some of your other questions. I'm just scrolling randomly. Okay, Diamond Pikachu says, tomorrow you're going to ride your son's 12-volt car to work. In these times, I don't blame you. Joel says, who are these spammers? I don't know. I'm so sorry. I think I blocked them now. California's electricity comes mostly from natural gas. And natural gas is different than gasoline. Sorry if that's a stupid question. Okay, Debbie says, Debbie loves to talk movies. She saw Smile and it's really, really good. Scary. So I haven't been to the actual movies in a while, but I did watch Hocus Pocus 2 and I absolutely loved it. And I think that there's a Monsters movie on Netflix. So I'm gonna check that out. And then the movie that I am, well, obviously, like Wakanda Forever. I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the next Avatar. But the movie that's in theaters right now that I really want to see, um, well, I think there's one called Blonde about Marilyn Monroe. I want to see that. And then also I want to see the one that's about David Bowie. That's out. Okay. BMP, Shelly, that was a loaded question. You also work in the power utility sector. You can assure me it's sustainable for now. We can talk more off YouTube. Added me on LinkedIn. Good vibes. All right. Thanks, BMP. Always happy to make new connections on LinkedIn. And yeah, I am curious about that. But just keep in mind, it sounds like you may have hopped out of the live tonight, that I may share whatever information you give to me with my viewers if you tell me I can. Okay, Joel, you're really curious if it will get to 7. You really am curious, but you hope it doesn't. So in some areas, so what prompted me to look is that I had already been thinking about looking because like I had driven by the gas station. I didn't need gas. And I thought that I was like, ooh, guys, I was talking about my eyes being bad yesterday. But this was several days ago. And I was like, I'm pretty sure that those gas prices, I was like, was that a 6? Because we're almost back to those highs. And then yesterday in the chat, someone said that they already paid $7 a gallon. And I was like, oh my goodness, I meant to look. And then today, like there's 2 different paths. I went to work out. And then there's 2 different paths that I can take to come back home. And today I remembered to take me past like the gas station path. I didn't need gas, thank goodness, but I remembered to look. And that's when I saw how expensive it was. Because there's a lot of new people in here, people I haven't seen for a while. It would mean a lot to me if you took a moment and liked the video. Okay, Romaine says, he's talking to Jose. You drive a Nissan Versa and put $28 in and you didn't even get a half a tank. Guys, pre-pandemic, right? And I feel like this is the same for those of you with Nissan Versas, which is a car that I like and I recommend because it is, if you're going to get a new car, it's an affordable new car. Nissan Versas, Kia Fortes. Also, Romaine and Jose, I haven't seen you in here before. If you're still making payments on your car, if your interest rate is above 4%, I'm not affiliated with them, but if your interest rate is higher than 4%, it might be worth looking into refinancing with a credit union because most of their rates are significantly lower than traditional auto lenders. Anyway, pre-pandemic, it used to cost like $20 to fill up my tank. And then I had one time where it cost me $50, and I don't think gas was even much. Okay, Debbie wants me to discuss EBT, which is like the SNAP and CalFresh, and talk about the raise. Will $95 ad continue? So they have said that for September, it's going to go out in October. It seems like they decide whether the pandemic boost, it seems like they decide that every month. Biden did just recently say that the pandemic was over, so I don't know if he'll be extending the boost. And then I will have to ask my mom because I haven't looked into that. But she is getting more money, but she's worried that because of her social security increase that they're going to take away her food stamps altogether. I'll have to ask her what that percentage is that her food stamps went up because I think her baseline food stamps were $45, and then I want to say I heard her say, or 48, and I want to say that I heard her say it was going up to over 100, but don't quote me on that. Okay. And your AAA insurance is too high. Guys, I have Geico. I like them. If you live in like Southern California, I've heard that Geico is the cheapest. Okay, Prince Ali, the prices of gas are causing me more financial pain than your materialistic ex-girlfriend. All right. I don't want to speak ill of anyone, but that was kind of funny. Hi, Ed. Shout out to you as well. I like your little doctor icon. Maintenance. That's it. Then they need to work 24 hours and get a night shift up there. Haha. Maybe I can go work. Ed's moving to Mississippi. I have family in Georgia and they're telling me that there's places to go that are much more affordable. Okay, Sunshine Vibe says Biden has been giving our gas away. I don't know. I haven't fact checked that. There's a lot that I don't know. There's some things that I'm really good at, like saving my own money. I've had decent luck in the stock market based on educated decisions. And I became an expert on California state unemployment benefits. Politics has never been my strong point. You guys have heard me say that before, but I certainly know more about it now than I did before the pandemic. Now, I do know that Biden had increased, no, I think he slowed the production of oil, and I'm not sure if we gave it away or if we're keeping it here. We need multiple middle class checks. I agree with that statement, but it is just the one payment. These high taxes are killing us in California. It sure is. And my family in Georgia, they were just saying, that a lot of people from California are moving there because it's more affordable. And you guys know, like, I was in the Graham Stephan mentorship. He moved to Las Vegas because the prices were too high. Joel says, you work at an independent shop called All Madden Auto Repair. Hopefully I said that right. So you guys, not sure what area that's in, but take your business to Joel and All Madden Auto Repair because I trust him. He's been on my channel for a long time, even before he was a mechanic. Like, and a mechanic's a good job. I remember, like, you were contemplating it. Like, there's no shame in being a mechanic, a plumber, an electrician, an HVAC repairman. Those are good pay. A truck driver. Those are good paying, respectable jobs. You guys know who I haven't seen in here in a while is Bad Grandpa. I hope he's doing okay. Oops. All right. Sunshine says, I want to leave California, but my father is battling an illness right now. Yeah, I would never leave California until my mom tells me she's ready to leave. And then also, I've lived in California my whole life, so I would have a lot of friends that I was potentially leaving behind. Okay, money manifesting sounds. Oh, I like that. Has anybody heard about the IRS forgiveness program for not filing back taxes? I do not currently have information on that. I want to say that that's I've heard a little bit about it. We can look into that in a second. Ooh, we're running out of time. Okay. Prince Ali says the Golden State Stimulus 3. We can use that again too, but negative AGI people won't get that. So let's just ask for more middle class tax income relief checks. Sounds good to me. $6.79 in Alameda. Uh-oh. Shelly, you've been listening to my videos for several years now. All right. Well, it's good to see you in here. It's not, oh, dang it, I got the spot. Okay. James says, did credit unions increase their rates too? Because federal government increased rates. Does that include credit union rates? So in general, yes, the credit union rates are not as cheap as they used to be. We can look that up too. I gotta keep putting it off and just look it up. I like First Entertainment Credit Union. Takes me right to the Get a Loan page. When we go to the apply, oops, I forgot to go to not a member. So we got to go back. Okay. We're not a member, but we're going to apply for an auto loan. And if we scroll all the way down, yes. Okay, so this is saying an estimated payment, if we filled out all this information, is based on a 3.24% interest rate. So 3.24% interest rate is the teaser rate. It means only people with a score 720 and above would qualify for the lowest rate of 3.24%. And it was only maybe a month ago when I was using this credit union as an example before, and the teaser rate was 2.5% at that time. Okay, King Babar says, I would drive a Nissan Versa or a small little Toyota Yaris. Yeah, yep, same. Okay, money manifesting sound says Biden was looking for a woman in Congress who passed away. We need a new president. Oh no, that's not good. Aw, sunshine vibes. Biden sucks, period. Things were much better under Trump. So this is going to be controversial, and I try not to talk too much about politics. I think that that is true, but a lot of the things that so it was 2020 was an election year, and then Biden didn't start being the president until 2021, right? So I think a lot of the things that are making it appear that Trump made better choices. And yeah, things were better under Trump. Trump was the one, like they call it Jerome Powell in the Fed, running the money printer, and then they make the sound and they go, right? So they were just printing money, printing money, printing money. And now we're feeling the consequences of that. But I think that the wheels were already set in motion. Also, with that said, I don't think that I don't think that anyone in office was going to have an easy solution. I think the pandemic really messed a lot of things up, and I don't think that there was like one right answer. I think that whoever was dealt that hand was going to struggle with it, right? And I had people being like, "Shelly, you should run for governor. Shelly, you should do this. Shelly, you should do that." I do not envy any of the politicians that were put in the position to make the choices that they made. I just don't. I don't think there wasn't going to be one solution that was right for everybody. There wasn't going to be one solution where everybody would like back that person and be like, "Yeah, that was the right solution." I think that's the way a lot of times with politics. I know growing up, like my mom said, Shelly, you have to think it's not just the president like making these decisions, but it's all the people voted into Congress to create these checks and balances. And they really have a whole team help running the whole show. But everything that we went through in 2020 that we're still dealing with the aftermath now wasn't going to have a one size fits all solution, but some decision had to be made. So I don't know. Financially, yes, if we're just looking at like were things better in when Trump was in office or are things better now, I think a lot of people would probably agree that they were individually better when Trump was in office, but the negative things that we're experiencing now, I don't necessarily think are Biden's fault. Like the wheels were already in motion for a lot of these things. Um, and again, I kind of feel like Trump had to do what he had to do to keep us afloat. Like it was a rough choice to make. I hope I played that pretty neutral. Like I feel I don't know. Anyway, sunshine. All I do is fact check because I want to know what's going on. Fair enough. Rocky, gas is expensive in the Inland Empire. It's crazy. I'm not trying to be negative, just frustrating. Hang in there. Yes. Okay. You'll run for president and shut no. Oh, I do love money. I would be, but see, here's the thing, right? I started to instinctually say, but I would be tight with money. Um, and I don't know if that was the right choice, right? If I was the Secretary of Treasury during the pandemic, would I be the one extending, like adding the boost to the unemployment? I don't know. I don't know because these are not easy decisions. And that's what I don't want to run for office. I don't because they're not easy decisions. And like even the money that we're getting back for the inflation stimulus relief, right? Or the middle class tax refund. That money, right when there's a surplus in our state taxes, which there was, so it creates a surplus in the budget, but there's a million different programs that all need that money. Also in the movie theater industry, there's a charity called like Variety. Have you guys seen the thing that said I'm on it this time? I see they popped up, and so I just blocked them. Have you guys seen these things about like kids who need electric wheelchairs, and as they grow, they need different sizes of electric wheelchairs. But like their insurance is like, well, we're not going to cover it. And like the waiting list on the state program is a mile long because there are oftentimes nonprofits that are donating these electric wheelchairs as the child changes size throughout their life. And then, like, so is me getting a $350 gas refund taking away from a child who needs to like get a bigger size on his electric wheelchair? Right. And I think that a lot of times, maybe it's not exactly that, but it's healthcare subsidies, it's fixing potholes in the roads, it's installing street lights, it's paying, to send people out to try and clean up homeless encampments. Is me getting $350 taking away from that, Because there's a lot of programs. The senior center that my mom goes to, like they supply free meals from seniors, but if inflation caused the cost of food to go up and the cost of gas, like there's a truck that delivers those meals to my mom's senior center, right? And then she volunteers and she helps pack up the meals for other seniors. But if the gas on the trucks is going up, if the cost to make the meals is going up, but the government still gives that organization that supplies those meals, if they give them the same budget in 2022 that they did in 2021, how do they make ends meet? How do they continue bringing the seniors those meals when they didn't get a bump in the budget surplus? Does that make sense? So, anyway, so these are not easy decisions, and I would never like they're all worthy causes. That's the thing, is that unfortunately there's more need than we have resources. Okay. So that's where my head's at. Guys, let me know if you have any questions about the middle class tax refund. We were last talking about these crazy gas prices. Oh, you're in the Bay Area. Okay. So I'm down in Southern California, but your shop for auto repairs up in the Bay Area. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, Rocky says the homeless in California is out of control. You've seen it at parking lots, people sleeping in their cars, so much more now. And, right, something else, and Sunshine, this isn't Biden because I think this is just the state of California. I didn't know this, but our eviction moratorium, at least here in Los Angeles, in the city of Los Angeles, it might not be county and it might not be the whole state, but here in the city of Los Angeles, the eviction ban is still in place for most issues, not all of them. And they're saying that that is finally going to end on December 31st. And there's not any rent relief, although I do want to share with you guys that if you applied for rent relief, oh, where's this? It was a tweet, right? Hold on. Hold on. I feel like this was important. Oh, that's hurting my eyes when I do that with my glasses on. What was I scrolling Twitter so much for? Savannah. That's not what I meant to do. But when I said, it made me think of that. Okay. I'm getting tired and crazy. Rent relief. Am I going to be able to find it? Anyway, basically, some people are still waiting to find out if they're getting rent relief. Here we go. Housing is key. This is a tweet from today. We're reviewing every California COVID-19 rent relief application. Be sure to check your email for follow-ups from your case manager and log into your account for updates. So if you've given up on that rent relief, don't give up on it. They are still issuing it. Check your account. And someone's saying, what? Anyway, I think that might have been a bot. Anyway, King Babar says, The roads in our state are in such bad condition, and even brand new tires can prematurely wear out. Yeah, and guys, if you've ever gotten a parking ticket and you're super mad about it, I try and look at it like that. I'm like, okay, hopefully this money from my parking ticket is going to make the roads better. Um, it's really sad. You understand that rent is high and many need help. Yeah, and I have a feeling that when like the Los Angeles city eviction ban does lift, that it's going to get even worse. And I think that's lifting in winter. A lot of people try and pit that as like a Republican Democrat issue as well, about why California has so many homeless people. I don't think it's a Republican Democrat issue, in my opinion. In my opinion, it is a weather issue. One of you said that you might move to Missouri. What is the temperature in Missouri in the winter? A lot colder than it is here in California. Here's the thing about California, right? And I live not too far from Venice Beach, Santa Monica Beach. Venice Beach for sure. They have public showers. So they're outdoor showers. They're meant to like rinse the sand off of you before you go back to the car after you've been in the water and playing in the sand. But there are outdoor showers. So if somebody from Missouri or any cold weather, cold winter weather state finds themselves homeless, like, that's what I would do. I would come to California, swim in the beach as my shower, then go actually shower in the beach shower. It is, even though it gets cold here at night, it doesn't get freezing cold. We get into what, like the mid 40s, the high 30s at the coldest. You can survive here. You're not going to die here if you come to California or homeless in the winter. You're not going to make it in those cold weather states. So I really think it's like, hey, we have nice weather. That contributes to our homeless problem. Susan, own nothing and be happy. Why they keep raising the prices, I don't know. Okay. Romaine says, have I heard of the silver tsunami? Seniors by the dozens are being evicted even during the pandemic because they cannot afford attorneys. It's absolutely sickening and it's happening. I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that. There should be free public defenders though. I wish I was like like when you tell me that, like I wish that I was like a properly trained lawyer. I'm unemployed right now. Maybe I should be a lawyer. I feel like with my glasses, I feel like no one would want to mess with me. Be a lawyer and fight for people against their evil landlords. Josie, happy Monday. Rocky, is there a certain amount a landlord can raise rent? Because a lady down the street said she was paying $800 for a studio, but they want to raise it to $2,000. Let's Google that. Okay, so here's the thing, is that, do we want to do it like this? What view do we want? Let's do it like this. Some areas are rent controlled and some are not. All right, landlords are really raising rents drastically. Yes, they are. And if it's a totally new construction build, I think they're allowed to. Can landlords raise rent as much as they want? If you live in an area, this is just from my Google search. If you live in an area with rent stabilization, aka rent control, your local area's law limits rent increases. If you don't live in an area with rent stabilization, your landlord can increase your rent by any amount. Let's also check California specific. How much can a landlord raise rent in California? The cost of renting in California has climbed steadily over the last 2 decades. Now it is one of the most expensive locations to live. So, how much can a landlord raise rent? In response to the state's high housing cost, declining middle class employment, and influence of the pandemic, California has had to enact a series of measures to keep affordable housing for low and moderate income tenants available in these tough economic times. On January 1st, 2020, new set of regulations were implemented that restricted evictions and leases, which has led many rental owners to wonder how much can a landlord raise rent. what is rent control, eviction control and price control, rent increases in California. Under normal, so I didn't read this one because with rent control, I want to say it's 3%. So rent control is more common in cities where competition for limited housing stock raises market rate prices out of reach for these residents. According to the National Multifamily Housing Council's website, rent control is not applicable in all United States. Yeah. So anyway, if it's rent control, I want to say it can only go up 3%. And from 800 to 2,000 would definitely not be that. But not every area has rent control. So what is AB 1482? Under normal circumstances, landlords can raise rent prices for their properties when they sign a new lease agreement, as long as they're giving tenants proper notice. For example, if a landlord wants to raise the price of their unit from $1,000 a month to $1,300 a month, they must provide a written notice to the renter at least 30 days before their next payment is due. However, in California, there are different rules. On January 1st, California implemented statewide rent control for the first time. Haha. So let's see. Let's read this. So I just Googled how much can a landlord raise rent in California. So let's see. Let's read this. Please give this to your friend Rocky. The law that defines this is AB 1482, or the Tenant Protection Act. Under this statute, annual rent increases are limited to 5% plus the change in the Regional Consumer Price Index, CPI, or no more than 10% of the lowest gross rental rate charged to the tenant during any 12-month period before the effective date of this increase. So it sounds like either or. So the CPI here in California, I don't know what that is, but let's say it's around 10%, or let's say that inflation has gone up 9%, right? So let's say that that's the CPI in California, and I don't know, 9 plus 5, that would still be a 14% increase. So if she's paying 800, you go 800 times 0.14, so they could raise it $112 if the CPI for the region was 9%, which I don't know if it is, plus 800. I would think that the maximum they could charge her would be $912, but I also have not finished reading this article. Let's also do, and if it were 10%, that would mean they could only raise it $80. Okay. What the heck? Okay, we're going to go down to this 2022 article in a second. In addition, if the rental price increases take place before August 1st of any year, the last year CPI adjustment from April 2 years ago through April 1 year ago should be utilized to complete the acceptable rent hike for the area in which the property is located. Furthermore, all CPI percentages should be rounded to the nearest tenth of a percent. I love it when it's clear as mud. Okay, so here we go. How much can a landlord raise rent in California in 2022? As explained by real estate agent Jeff Johnson of Simple Home Buyers, in 2022, landlords are allowed to raise rents on existing tenants between 3% and 8% annually. So that's not very much. The fluctuation depends on whether the rental property is in the city or suburbs. Moreover, the landlords cannot evict the tenant without due process. So what changed in 2022 and what hasn't? So according to the Tenant Protection Act of 2019, a landlord's minimum increase in rent was 5% per year. This figure could go up to 10% depending on inflation. Okay, so up here, it looks like it says 5% plus the change in the CPI. Oh, or no more than 10%. Am I reading that right? Okay. So between 3% and what? 3%, 8%. What? This is confusing to me. But anyway, rent increases in California are currently capped at 5% plus any changes to the consumer price index to a maximum of 10%. So they can't raise it above 10%. Cities that already have rent control laws in place, like Los Angeles and San Francisco, will keep their existing rent control rules. The new state legislation won't overwrite them. Instead, the legislation will allow the same protections to units and houses not already covered by rent control rules. In many areas of Los Angeles, landlords are prohibited of raising the cost of rent stabilized units amounting to more than 650,000 dwellings. And this rent control, this California rent control covers typical rentals, including apartments. However, rental act does not apply to all rentals in California. Stipulates that single family homes, condominiums, and units constructed after February 1st, 1995 are not covered by local rent. But what about state control? Okay. My nose itches. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to read through some of this because this is a long article. Properties constructed. All right, whatever. There's a few other exceptions to this rule. Properties constructed in the last 15 years, single family homes, so like a house, unless they're owned by a corporation, duplexes where the owner resides in one of the rule units, properties that are already subject to local rent control regulations, houses restricted by a deed, regulatory limitations or other recorded document limits, affordability to lower modest income households, college dormitories, and mobile homes. But mom, don't worry because there are mobile home limitations in place. Okay. Oh, dang it. What is up with this damn spammer? I'm so sorry, guys. I had popped out for a minute. Okay. Wow, that's crazy. Okay. Staff says these gas prices really skyrocketed in 30 minutes. I know. I got gas at 5.79 last Thursday, and when I went again 30 minutes later, it was at 6.09. Yeah, and now it's at Arco, which is pretty cheap. It was 6.39 today. And they're saying it's gone up like 20% since September 3rd. So in a month, it's gone up 20%. Susan Wilson says in Covina, she's been at her apartment since 2012, and now they want $1,800 for the same apartment minus $1,275. So when somebody moves out, they can charge the new tenant market rate, but they can't raise the existing tenant's rent, from what I'm reading, more than 10%. Okay, Romaine says, I know inflation is up the nose, but these landlords are taking total advantage of the inflation and everything else and are price gouging greedy snakes. Okay, you're welcome, Rocky. Yeah, that's way too much. Okay, Susan, you moved in 2012, and it was $10.50, and now it's $12.75. Every 2 years, $50, and now $75. Yeah, and that would be. So yeah, it sounds like they're within their limits to raise it that much, but that sucks. Okay, you're sure they're trying to see how much they can get or to see if she can pay more. Just tell her to be really nice to be like, I read an article that said all of California is under rent control now, and I don't think you're allowed to raise my rent by more than 10% and then see what they say. But be super nice about it. Just be like I play like the I'm confused card if I need to, because you don't want to call your landlord a liar or a greedy snake, right? Not to their face, at least. Come in the chat and vent all you need here on the channel. But like when you're talking to them, you want to just really politely be like, hey, I know that that's not okay. Or, hey, like, am I reading this? I would send them an article, quite honestly, because I'm a little bit I can be petty, but nice, right? So I would link the article and I would be like, am I reading this right? Because it looks like, the most you're allowed to raise my rent is between, I would say 3 and 8%, and then let them read the article and then correct you to 10%. Because if you said it looks like the most you can raise my rent is 10%, they're gonna be like, "Okay, I'm gonna raise it 10% then." So I would I would almost like, this is what I call a white lie. I would forward them that article and then pretend like it does say 3 to 8% in one part of it, and then, if they try and charge more than 10%, which would be $80 on 800, that's when I would be like, no." Okay, Romaine, I think the rent control here in LA can only be raised this year up to 5%. I sure hope not. Should only be 3% if anything, they never do repairs at my building. Well, there are legalities about certain repairs also, so maybe look into that. Do I think gas is up because they know the gas stimulus is coming? No. So we read an article earlier about that, and they're saying that it's because there's issues with the refineries. They didn't say what issues though. Maintenance, planned and unplanned maintenance. I wonder one. I like your icon. California resident here. Me too. Your rent went up this month $50. So it would depend on how much you were previously paying and like when your lease was up. So it looks like for existing tenants that they can't raise it by more than 10%. But for $50, that would need to mean like your rent would have to be less than 500 for the 50 not to be okay. Rocky says, Never a snake. I'm going to tell her to do some research." Yes. Okay. SC says, "Maybe do a video on rental laws that aren't under rental control, and it would probably get many views." That's not my list of videos is growing. Why are these bots in here? It's so annoying. Okay. Whew. Okay. We've been talking for an hour and 10 minutes, so I will probably head out. I'm sorry we didn't even open the middle class tax refund article, but if you guys need information on the middle class tax refund, go back to last night's live stream. I'm wearing like an orange pumpkin shirt. I'm trying to do Halloween theme this tonight. I've got on like black cats. I talked a lot about it. I brought up the articles that I was referencing last night with that. I've enjoyed look, I don't enjoy that the rent prices are up. I don't enjoy that gas prices are up, but I do enjoy talking about these kinds of topics. So I think it's been a really good chat tonight. Susan, you are welcome. Okay. All right, guys. So, yeah, check the video yesterday if you do need more information about the middle class tax rebate, how it's hitting your account, what happens if your bank account has changed, or if you need to change your address or anything like that. Check out the one. It's another live where I'm in an orange pumpkin shirt. We go over it several times. That one's worth watching. Other than that, I have a quick little video, and in the thumbnail, the picture, it just says 1050 that gives the dates. It doesn't talk about what date you'll fall under if you changed your bank account, you needed to change your address, any of that, or the income qualifications, but it does give you the dates that you'll be getting that. Okay, let's see if I have any more questions. All right, I appreciate all of you as well. All right, I'm going to try and keep my outfits all Halloween themed all month. Let's also, before I hop out, what date is Halloween? Halloween falls on a Monday. So we got to start deciding if we're going to stream on my favorite holiday. Also, I'm trying to convince my mom to go on a little trip. So I'm not sure I'll be in town. I'm not sure what my Wi-Fi will be like. I will keep you posted if for any reason I can't stream on Monday nights at 9 and Sundays at 11 a.m. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.